We mentioned a big spike in the number of cases of COVID-19 in Houston today. It jumped to 402. That sounds like a big number. Adam Bennett joins us live downtown outside City Hall. Adam, it sounds big, but there's a lot more to the story. Explain it for us.
That's right, Len. As you mentioned a moment ago, there was a big backlog from one of the labs doing the testing. So about 2/3 of those cases actually date back to the middle of last month. And the mayor says one piece of good news in those new cases, no new deaths. Still, there are 10 deaths due to COVID-19 within the city of Houston alone. The mayor says that is 10 too many. That's why he says this month is absolutely critical in flattening the curve. He is again urging everyone to do their part and social distance. 68 city employees, including police and firefighters, have now tested positive for COVID-19. Many more have quarantined, and today Houston's fire chief says he is now requiring his firefighters to wear surgical masks at their fire stations.
Let's walk away when you're in a fight about something, you're arguing about something. Just turn around, walk away, go to another room, go to the backyard, go to the front yard. Just create space. Social distancing sometimes is not just about the physical and the virus, it's also about the mental, the emotional, and the situation that we're all dealing with, the added stress. Just take the time out, give yourself space, and most importantly, don't be afraid to call for help. We have
Yeah, and that was Police Chief Art Acevedo talking about a 70% jump in the number of aggravated assaults reported at homes just since the start of the stay-at-home orders compared to last year. Now, this afternoon, we also saw crews taking down volleyball nets in city parks. They have already closed playgrounds, they've taken down basketball rims, and they've sent park monitors, all of this to help limit the number of people and enforce social distancing. Now, today, Mayor Turner also announced a new program to help essential workers find childcare and also get some financial help as well with that. That's at findchildcarenow.org. And the mayor said that as of now, the hospitals do have enough capacity, including with ICU beds and ventilators, to handle the current caseload. Len?